Hi guys, I'm really sorry I'm not there today. I have to be at a meeting, so unfortunately I can't be with you, but you're in great hands. Today you're going to practice what we talked about yesterday by looking at some real cells and trying to figure out what stage they're in. The cells you're going to look at are onion root tips, and you're going to use this website that you see in front of you in order to do so. The root tip is a great place to look because that's where the root is growing, and cells grow, or organisms grow, by undergoing mitosis, adding more cells. So when you get to this website, the first page here is going to talk a little bit about how they're able to actually see the mitosis process happening within the root tip. If that's something that's interesting to you, skim through it. Otherwise, hit next. On this page, it talks through all of the different phases: interphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. Exactly what we talked about yesterday in class. This is a great additional resource to use, and I would highly recommend reading through it. Yes, we talked about all this information, but reading it a second time can be a great thing. When you're done reading, you're going to hit next. It'll bring you to this page. On this page, they show you a chart. This chart is in the worksheet that you need to fill out alongside of this website. What you're going to do is look at 36 different cells, and you're going to classify them as being in interphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, or telophase. As you are done classifying them, you'll count up the total number in each and determine their percentage. Like I said, this chart is right in your worksheet, so please make sure you're filling it out. We can hit next. And this brings you to where you're going to start to work. On this page, you should see a cell that shows up. It is currently above the word interphase. And you have to determine which phase this cell is in. Well, I'm seeing the chromosomes. Those are the little black parts, are at the middle part of the cell. So I'm guessing that that means they're going to be in metaphase. And if I click on metaphase, it tells me correct. And it places that cell in the metaphase column, so I can come back and count it later. Now I see this next cell, and I'm not really sure what it is. So I'm just going to guess and put anaphase. Oh no, they tell me this cell has a prominent nucleolus, or that dark spot in the nucleus. And that's not a feature of cells in anaphase. Anaphase has to have 2 clusters of distinct chromosomes. Remember, that's when the chromosomes are splitting and moving to opposite sides. Okay, that makes sense, so I'm going to hit try again. And I know that if the nucleolus is present, that must mean we're in interphase. So I pick interphase and it says, good job. And now I get to try the next one. And since that looks so similar, I'm going to hit interphase again. And I'm going to keep classifying these cells. Now, once I'm done classifying all of them, I'm going to count up how many I have, and I'm going to record that information in the worksheet. So let's head over to the worksheet so you can kind of see what that's going to look like. So let's pretend for right now that we said there were 18 cells in total in interphase. We looked at a total of 36 cells. The next thing we have to do is figure out the percentage of cells in interphase. To do that, I've got the formula right down here. You're going to take the number of cells that we had in interphase, 18, and divide by the total number of cells, 36, and that will give me 0.5, okay? Now I take that 0.5 and I multiply by 100, and that should equal 50%. And I can put the 50% in right here. The reason we want to solve the percentage is we're actually going to use that to determine how long it takes to get through the whole phase of interphase. We're looking at this snapshot of a root tip. And so if about half of the cells are in interphase, that probably means that interphase takes about half the time of the cell cycle. In this paragraph, it talks about how we're going to assume the cell cycle takes 24 hours. 1 full day to be complete. Okay? So now to figure out how much time is spent in each phase, we're going to use this formula right here. I'm going to take that percentage, and when you use this percentage, use the decimal, not 50. If you use 50, you're going to get something that's way higher than what we're looking for, but the 0.5, and I'm going to multiply that by 24 to equal 12 hours. And I'm going to fill that in right here, that an interphase took about 12 hours. Now, I'm going to solve for prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase, and these numbers should add up to be about 24. Don't get too hung up on rounding, or if you're rounding too much or too little. If it's a little bit off, that's okay. And that's mostly a result of the rounding function. All right, so what are we going to do with this information? Well, because we're scientists, we're going to graph it. We're going to make a pie graph. Important information to note in this is that each piece of the pie represents 1 hour. So if interphase takes approximately 12 hours, that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of those pieces are going to be devoted to interphase. So I would color all of this in ever so beautifully, and that whole chunk would represent interphase. You're going to have to approximate a little bit as you're working through this, but you should get each of the phases onto the puzzle. Now, because you're putting multiple pieces of information, you need to either label the sections or create a key. We've got information for a key right here. And since this is a graph, you need to have a title. Put your title right there. When you're finished, there's 5 questions to answer about this. This should not take you more than the whole period. Please make sure you get this completed and submitted to Schoology by the end of class. Everyone should do their own. However, you may work with a partner as long as you guys are being effective so that you can talk to each other and help each other out through each of these stages. When you're finished, please make sure your Cell Cycle Click and Learn is also completed and submitted. And then you can work on the cell cycle coloring. That was what we talked about last week. That is due tomorrow. If you have more time after that, you need to take a look at the review packet. If you haven't done your Ed puzzle, do your Ed puzzle. And take a look back at the homework from last night, those vocab words. Make sure you've got those finished. If you have any questions, please make sure to email me. While I'm going to be in meetings, I will try to be accessible via email and get back to you if you're having any issues. Otherwise, please be on your best behavior and have some fun playing with the cell cycle, and I will see you guys later. Have a great day. Bye, guys.